This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Hughes and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Hughes and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Hughes and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we're coming at you every day, Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. I'm glad to be back in the studio with my good friends. Had a great weekend. Herb, how was yours?
Mine was fantastic, man.
Tell me all about it.
Well, man, first of all the championships were going on this weekend.
That's right. And you know what? All my teams won.
And all our teams won. That's exactly right.
My friend Donathan in Atlanta.
I know.
I'm sorry about this. I mean, we really shouldn't be high-fiving.
Well, I don't know. We knew this was going to happen. But
at least we wanted it to.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, no, I had a great time, man. I screamed and hollered, got hoarse. Then I got nervous. I couldn't be on the show because I was hoarse. I was like, oh, no.
But what are the chances that two brothers would wind up coaching against each other in the Super Bowl?
I absolutely said when we left last week, and those of you who were listening, you know, John and I had our picks for the championship. And but what we didn't say last week, John, is that we were going to have the Harbaugh Bowl.
No, yeah, that's right.
We didn't say that.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what we got.
That's what we got. We got the Harbaugh Bowl.
Well, I'm happy about it.
I really am.
So who you pulling for?
You know, I really don't have a dog in this fight.
I really don't either.
I really want it to be a competitive game, though. I don't want a lopsided Super Bowl. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I do not want that.
So there's not a portion of you that's leaning. I mean, is there not 51% of you that?
Oh, here we go.
Make a prediction.
Okay. Well, I think the 49ers are going to take it.
Well, I'm with you on that.
Yes.
And I also kind of want them to take it.
Yeah,
I've just never been a big Ravens fan.
Well, I'm just not. You know what? I think I would feel better. First of all, you know, we talked about last week that I was really thrilled to find myself in a situation where I could root against the Patriots.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy about that.
Yeah. Man.
And then after the game, of course, you know, Bill Belichick just really solidified my sentiments.
Oh yeah, by walking out and not doing the interview.
Yeah. I mean, how ungrateful is that?
Man, you know,
who gets the chance to even be in the AFC Championship?
That's not a mark of a professional.
No, not at all. I was
happy the Brady Bunch is now at home as well. So
yeah, that's all right. They can watch it with me.
So we'll see what happens. You know, we got a great guest in the studio with us today.
Absolutely.
And we're going to ask that he get really close to that microphone, and because he is a soft-spoken guy, but he's one of the most intelligent people that you'll probably see on this show. Present company.
No. You're not going to rope me into that, buddy. Not with Jason sitting next to me. No way.
But if you're watching us on cruiseandhughes.com, you'll see that our guest is sitting to Irv's left, and you probably have seen him on the show before, and we want to say welcome back. His name is Jason Jimenez, and he is the president of International Resource Group, but that's just one of the companies that he has, and we'll talk about some of the other developments that he's involved in. Welcome back to the show, Jason.
You know, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for having me.
You know, it's always a pleasure. We always have great conversation. As a matter of fact, Jason and I were sitting in my office. And
you're not going to tell that, are you?
Why not? and next thing we hear is, hey, guys, we're on. You know? So, I mean, we were just letting our conversation get away with us, but that's normally what we do.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, you just got back from out of town, and we want to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into that, let's open up with International Resource Group. What exactly is that business?
We are a group of basically entities, mid-sized to large companies that have come together to provide the resources on an a la carte basis for an investor, domestic or international, that are wanting to do business here in Houston.
Wow!
And so what we do is really specifically guide them in the right direction so that they have the capacity to have viability, commercial viability, and yet growth along the way. Because at the end of the day, in any business, you have certain elements that are just inevitable. You're going to have. and we've been able to come together as a structure through reliable individuals that have been around for years and years in, and do it in all one spot.
Now, when you say investors, domestic or abroad, that want to make investments in small businesses,
Either in a small business that's in the market to be purchased, or because they want to come in and say, I want to go into this business and I don't know what's available, or in this industry, I should say.
Okay, so someone who may want to invest their own capital in some industry, but just don't know all the moving parts. They don't know the pitfalls. You guys come in and help point those things out.
Completely, yeah.
So now, Jason, you've been on the show before, and we had an absolute blast, and I love what you do. I'm just telling you, and folks, let me just tell you, if you get into one of these deals and you don't know what you're doing, get help.
Yeah, always.
Get help. So Jason, somebody comes along and they say, hey, I think I want to get into this business. I have a little bucket of money here. I can't afford to put it at too much risk. I need to reduce my risk.
Right.
You come in then.
Absolutely, especially because of the foreign investors that are coming into the country. You have individual countries like Pakistan that you're experiencing a lot of turmoil. You have Mexico in the last couple of years. If you've seen the news, it's just completely, people are leaving the country because of their safety.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of monies in around the world, and so when they're coming to the U.S., and what they're realizing is they don't do business here the way they do it there.
Correct.
And Texas, it's, as they say, its own country.
No doubt.
It's even different.
Even within the confines of the United States.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So in doing that, they may know an attorney, right? They may know an immigration attorney, but they don't know everything else and all the other elements that are needed, and yet ones that can be trusted, that have credibility, that have been around for years.
Sure.
Right.
And so that's really where the availability comes into play. We will guide them in a way that there is a true light at the end of the tunnel, but in a way that it's structured strategically with marketing capacity, and get them to a commercial viability with the process of saying that the U.S. government, through the immigration visas that are available out there, they've been duplicated and done over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about International Resource Group, so most of your clients, or perhaps even all, I want you to clear that up for me, are foreign entities for the most part that come in and use this service.
We're probably 60-40.
Okay.
That's our percentage. As far as the businesses that we work in, we have 60% of our clientele are international.
Okay.
40% of them are just domestic clients, and it's mainly because all the entities involved in the International Resource Group are all domestic companies. So we have clients ourselves that when they need a service of CPA, or they need service of labor law, or an architect firm or a construction company to build their building, well, we're just going to refer them to people that we trust and we have reliable resources.
Now, does that investment go both ways? Is that for people who are looking to do business abroad? Do you help them in that capacity, or is it mostly for those investors who are abroad that are looking to do business in the United States?
Up until this weekend, I would say that was only people coming in from abroad coming into the U.S., and the trip that I just got back now has given us the access to do the complete opposite. We now have access, and we're actually negotiating with investors and organizations, investment pools in Pakistan, Spain, and now we have interest in Germany and in Portugal.
Wow.
So, Jason, let me ask you a question. So, let's say I have a U.S. business.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm looking for money.
Right.
I need investors. Would you be a resource to come to do that?
Yes, we would.
Okay.
Because what ends up happening is as long as the company has a business model and a plan structured, then we have already resourced and put together a group of investor pools, whether it be venture capitalists, angel investors, private equity firms, that are in certain sectors, that if this model fits a certain sector, we'll reach out to them and say, all right, we have a project that we've looked at, we feel has viability, we want to go present it to you, and then we start the negotiations on their behalf.
So your company would vet my business model. You would look at it, you would vet it, you would see how far out I am from that being viable.
Yep.
For the resources that you have.
Absolutely. Now, it's one of the entities within the resource group, because IRG is actually a nonprofit. We are structured as an educational platform.
Okay.
So it's not that you're contracting IRG. You're getting IRG as an educational platform, but within that you have members, which is Titan Business Consulting Group, which will do exactly that. verify that there's a business plan, strategic plan.
Sure.
That would be one of the steps. But if you say, well, now I need to purchase a building, well, we'll go out to Colliers International or Marcus & Millichap and actually get with them to see what's on the portfolio so they can acquire a building.
So the truth is, your group can protect me, because if I'm getting into some uncharted water, as it were, for myself as a small business owner, I could come to you not only to get educated on what those steps are, and I guess really, if I'm a small business owner, it would make sense for me to want to get educated so that I could be a better risk for whoever it is I'm going to ask for money.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, my partner John Hauser has this saying that you can run as fast as you can in a certain direction, but if it's the wrong way, that gets you anywhere.
Yeah, you still didn't get where you want to go, even if you're going 100 miles an hour.
Exactly. So our job is to make sure that you are going in the right direction and that you are committed to it.
Sure. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Now, you know that you're going to open yourself up to dozens and dozens of people who possibly listen to this show who are in need of money.
Right.
And when we come back from the break, I'd like to talk about what is that process. I know that there are a few directions we can take this, but I want to talk about what's that process. If I'm calling you up and I need to get money, what are those very first steps that need to be done before you would even consider sending my package to your list of investors?
Got it.
All right. Guys, we're going to take a short break. We want to thank you so far for listening to this show. Do not go away. We're going to give out Jason's contact information when we come back from the break. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneur. Even if you're not in the Houston footprint, it would do you well to make certain that you go on to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, input your information, and let us send you a copy each and every month. It's a business strategy publication that will definitely assist you in your efforts for success. More in a moment with Jason Jimenez. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is, Is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. If you have not been listening, you've missed a great first segment. Our guest today is Mr. Jason Jimenez. He is the president of International Resource Group, and we're talking about what IRG does. And there's a few facets to the model that IRG operates under. We've been talking about that. But before we go any further, Jason, why don't you tell the good folks if they wanted to contact you and learn more about IRG, how could they get in touch with you?
Sure. You can go to irghouston.org, or you can call 1-800-994-0143, or a direct line would be 832-754-7808.
Now, Jason, I got to ask this question because I promised you during the break that I wasn't going to let you off the show without asking this question because I think your business model is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely know that for our listeners who are small business owners all around the country, I'm going to ask a question and then I have a follow-on question. The first question is, for people who might be around the country, different places, can you guys work nationally with somebody?
We could, because some of our entities that are within IRG are actually have several markets within the United States, and they also have markets abroad.
Fantastic.
So, absolutely.
Well, that's great. So now my follow-on question. How in the world did you come up with an idea like this?
It was really funny. Over 2.5 years ago, we had a friend of mine call me from Mexico and said, I have a client that's coming into Houston and is looking for some resources. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's looking for some financing. He can't even find anybody. So I said, all right, well, tell me about it. And we got a conference call, talked to him. I found out what he wanted. And then I made some phone calls with people that I knew I had relationships with from a business and personal level. We sat down. Through that conversation, so many other questions evolved. And the next thing you knew is I had people in every sector. And then it's when the light bulb went out. Then you put the element of what's going on with Mexico and all the turmoil and all the fear and everything that's going in. You see a influx of people coming in, families coming in, and there was a niche.
Sure.
And so I connected basically a very simple concept with something that's happening and affecting everyone domestically and abroad because of what's happening and the sadness really that's happening, and connected it and being able to help. Mm-hmm. And it evolved into something that, I love this country, right? Mm-hmm. And especially Houston, it's where I'm from and that's where I live. Sure. Mm-hmm. And if I had the capacity to do, and this is why we're working very closely with the city of Houston, is because we literally are able to inject capital within the local economy and also create job growth.
Sure.
Because these visa programs are mandated to be able to hire only residents and citizens, which means it's an opportunity for everybody to benefit. If I inject capital into the local economy, then we all get affected by it.
Sure.
Why? Because our taxes will possibly go down.
Well, that's right.
That benefits everyone.
That's exactly right. And who doesn't want to live in a prosperous community?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned these visas. Tell me a little bit about that. Now, how does that work? Someone is on the shore of some other foreign country.
Yep.
They've made a decision that they would love to have a dual citizenship in the United States. Is that how this starts? And then they come in as an investor. Tell me a little bit about that process.
All right. Well, little disclosure. I am not an attorney.
Yeah, we got it. I love that.
That's the first thing, right? I can just tell you what I know. Certainly. And what has been within the conversations with the clients that we currently have.
Okay.
There are a multitude levels of visas, right? There could be an investment visa to where minimum investment could be, around $100,000, and then there's investments that could be all the way up to $500,000 to $1 million. It really depends upon the outcome of what the client's wanting. It's kind of like the same question that you would ask a business owner: where do you want to be?
Yeah.
And based on that, it's going to determine the type of investment, the type of visa that we would actually recommend. For example, an L1 is an example, would basically mean that an individual would want to still have his entity still established in whatever country he comes from. Okay. And that entity would just purchase or develop a business here in the U.S., and they would be doing business transactions together.
Okay.
Right? So that would be an option. The other thing that you want to worry about and ask a question is, if you become a permanent resident or a citizen,
sure,
you are now subject to domestic and international tax implications. Well, on an EB-5, you're pretty much mandated in most, to be able to become either a permanent resident or a citizen. If that's not something you want to be exposed to, then that's not the route you want to go to.
Gotcha.
We may put you into an E2 or an E1 visa, where the program is you would just renew your visa every 3 or 4 years, subject to the fact that your business model and the plan that you structure and you presented to the U.S. government is falling in lines with what you said it was going to happen, because they're very strict on that. And that's why, going back to the business model, making sure it's viable, we can't work with a company that's just say, I just want a visa. It doesn't work that way.
Gotcha.
Because we wouldn't be helping anybody.
Right. So there's some effort that has to happen on the side of the investor.
Absolutely.
And as you put it, there are a list of different types of visas. So you have to sort of pair that with where you are, what your outcome, your long-term outcome is going to be. Now, do you guys help put them with attorneys that understand this language?
Absolutely. We actually, one of the attorneys that we work with is one by Sarah Monty, and she is one of the major partners for Monty and Ramirez. They are a labor law and immigration attorney.
Okay.
And they definitely have done a phenomenal job. They work domestically, internationally with a lot of clients everywhere, and they have just been such a blessing.
Our guest today is Mr. Jason Jimenez. He's the president of International Resource Group. If you'd like to connect with IRG, you can do so by going to their website, irghouston.org, or you could give them a call toll-free at 800-994-0143. Again, that number is 800-994-0143. Now, I want to give out our number, because if you have a question, if you'd like to run something by Jason while we're on the air right now, you can call us at Cruz and Hughes at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958. Now, IRG is a nonprofit.
Right.
And I always have to ask this question.
I was about to get to it.
I got it locked and loaded. How does the nonprofit make money?
We don't. What we do is we are an avenue where an individual can come and get education. The way that we actually, let me put my entity. I have an insurance firm.
Okay.
The only way I make money is if they actually bought an insurance policy from me.
Right.
Okay.
My job, as what I would do for anybody, is just educate them in the right process of what they need and what they don't need to protect their assets.
Right. So let me be clear then. Are you saying that I'm a small business owner, I'm looking for some source of capital, I've pretty much decided that I want to go after some investor dollars,
right?
But I need to have my model looked at. I need to have an expert opinion, I guess. Maybe not an attorney, but certainly a viability opinion.
A business consultant.
A business consultant. And I think I hear you saying I could come to IRG and there's no fee.
You would basically then be engaged by Titan Business Consulting Group, which would fill in that role.
Okay, so Titan
would charge
me a fee.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
But IRG as a whole.
But I could come to you and get educated about what I need to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that I don't have to pay for.
Absolutely.
So you could give me some direction.
Yes.
You could say, okay, Irv, you need to do this. You need to look like this. You're weak here. You're weak there. You need to stop that. Whatever those things are, those you can help me identify those barriers that are hurdles I need to clear. That's between me and where I want to go.
Correct.
Wow.
As well as put a plan together that addresses those issues so that you are ready to be presented to an investor.
Completely, because at the end, and that's really where the role is, and usually starts at Titan Business Consulting Group. It's really being able to package a business in a model, and a model that's well structured, that has the capability of going to commercial viability as quickly as possible, so that it can be presented to an investor, or a venture capitalist, or angel investor, or whatever you want to call it, someone that's willing to inject capital with a trade of return for equity.
Sure.
And so what we do is say, all right, what do you want to do?
That's awesome.
Put it together, and then make the presentations.
Now, let's talk about this process for, we just talked a little bit about the people who are coming from overseas to get visas. Let's talk about the process for getting money. I have a business that, let's say that I have a going concern right now. We've been in business, we've had some success, but to get to where we really need to be, we need to bring on a partner, or we need to be able to raise money of some sort.
Yep.
What would be the very first process as I come in to speak to Titan Business Consulting?
What we would do is we'd actually start off from the financials.
Okay.
Your financials will tell you everything. It's the lifeblood of everything. It will tell you exactly where the money's going to, where it's coming in, and from that snapshot, we'll be able to find out if there's areas that it could be improving, areas that we could maybe suggest to adjust, and areas that are really strong, areas that are really weak. At that moment, that what ends up happening is then we basically compare that with what you, as an owner, would tell us, this is where I want to be. This is how I think I'm going to get there. If the financials are congruent and going along lines with what you said it is, then it looks good. If it's not, then we'll make the adjustments and make the suggestions from that point forward.
So I would take it that there's some sort of financial review or performance assessment on how the company's performing, so we can kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, benchmark its performance.
Absolutely, because and that's where my partner John comes into play. John Hauser is an individual, like I mentioned to you earlier. He is, at the end of the day, the contractor CFO.
Sure.
He has run $100 million companies.
Sure.
He's a turnaround guy. He's an individual that would come in and analyze a business and turn it around.
Sure.
And really get it to a point to where it has that lifeblood and longevity.
That's absolutely incredible. Folks, let me tell you what, if you are in a position where you want to attract some investor dollars, doesn't it make sense that you would have somebody like Jason or IRG to take a look at your business? And guess what? When we come back, we gotta drill down into some more of that, because that is good stuff, man. All right. Appreciate that. All right, folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by RingCentral.com. To get RingCentral's virtual PDX for your business, you can give them a call today at 888-716-5022. More in a moment with Jason Jimenez right after this.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Mr. Jason Jimenez. He is the president of International Resource Group. If you want to give us a call and talk to Jason, you can dial 347-857-3958. Now, we were talking a little bit about the fact that you, just got back from Spain.
Last night.
And you're here to do the show today. You've been working all day. You are an Iron Man, to say the least. But tell me a little bit about why you ended up in Spain.
Like I said, we've been very blessed as an organization. Last Friday, I had a call from a delegate from Spain that came here several months ago and was so impressed at what we were doing here with the relationships that we have with some of the entities, and went back to Spain and said, talked to their government, and they had a project coming out. They called me Friday and said, we want you to fly out and help us out with the project that we're putting together. And I said, okay. And didn't know what it was about. They sent me the package, and what it ended up coming to be was Spain. There's a city of Ordencia in Galicia, which is a city, or the city of Ordencia in their
state or province.
State, there you go.
Okay.
Right. And so what it was is that they wanted advice from individuals, entities, and investor pools that are willing to educate that city on how to attract tourism and to create an infrastructure based on the thermal waters that they're so popular for over there. And so we jumped at the chance. And what I didn't realize and I didn't know is who was going to be there. And so the next thing you know is we have delegates and consulates and different representatives from different countries, from Argentina, Germany. We had Portugal. We had a representative from China. And all of them were just investor groups that at the end of the day, or represented investor groups, there to advise the city of the best course of action to draw and attract tourism so that the commercial viability of that city could grow and there was actual growth, and to help the economy, because everybody's getting affected by the economy.
Sure. Right.
It's just not here.
It's worldwide.
It's world.
Right.
Right. And so they were looking for advice. And what came out of it was now the interest of actually expanding IRG to several different other locations, including Pakistan, which is I'm just mind boggled about that. But
and that's what's interesting. That's what I love about Jason. He took that as an opportunity not only to solidify his relationship with the Spanish government,
right,
but you also were able to solidify relationships with other people who represent deep pocket investors in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's.
I've got to know how you felt about such an opportunity. I would think, just listening to you, and folks, you probably can't see what I'm seeing, but I can see it in his eyes because I'm sitting right here. But that's got to be a touchdown for you. That's got to be.
Why are they like the first thing it says? Like, why are you listening to me? And although I know that what we do, for me, it's all about making this world a better place.
Sure.
Right? It's all about helping and helping and making people happy in certain aspects. And this model was really based upon helping people create a dream of whatever it is. If it's important to them, that's what we're committed to. And yet, at the same time, yes, we're a business. We want to make money.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And being there was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It was a level of acknowledgement of saying that what we're doing as an organization, what we're doing as a committed source, is being recognized.
Absolutely, on a national level, international level.
Yeah.
Because you're in a room, and I know that you were there. I saw some of the pictures with what looked to be dozens of other individuals who are doing great things in their respective countries.
Absolutely.
Now, tell me this. Now, how many companies fall under the makeup of IRG? How many other resources are available to small business people?
Currently, we have officially around 11, and we're just about to initiate 2 more individual companies.
Give me an indication of what those companies represent in the way of what.
Got it. So we have UBS,
Okay.
That
United Bank of Scotland?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but they only work with the international. So, because at the end of the day, so if it's something domestic, they won't help them. They only deal with the international investors before they come in the country.
Okay.
The immigration and labor law attorney. We have Randy Reimer, which is a CPA from here that deals with international and domestic companies. We work with BBVA Compass on the aspect of the financing. We also have private equity money that will come in to inject if need be. Then at that point in time, if the individual says, I want to develop, we have Page Sutherland Page, which is a 134-year-old company that's based out in Austin. They have locations in Houston, Denver, Washington, Abu Dhabi, and in Japan. Then we have John Stone Construction, which is a construction company. They build we are
the world
today, right? And from that point on, then obviously I manage and I oversee everything that's related to insurance, so workers' comp, commercial insurance, medical benefits. UES does have another individual in there that takes care of the 401ks and their retirement planning. And then last but not least, we also have Lopez Negrete. Now, Lopez Negrete is a company who is very well known and actually national to where they deal with nothing but PR and advertising and branding.
Absolutely.
So, because the business plan has to have that.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Now you know, it sounds, Irvin, that they've pretty much encompassed all areas that are important to small business.
Right.
And I can't think of anything that was not said almost.
No, you know, in fact, it led me to my next question for Jason, and that's this, Jason. Now, you've mentioned that you are an entrepreneur and that you come from the insurance industry.
Right.
Right. I'm curious, and if you wouldn't mind sharing with our listening audience, how does a person who owns an insurance business, comes from the insurance industry, get the attention of some of these huge multinational companies and get them to join you in your effort to systematize this process? I mean, I'm sitting here amazed. I'm always amazed when I talk with you about how do you even get their attention? How do you find the right person?
Who do you call?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I want to buy a giraffe. Well, who do you call to buy a giraffe?
Where do I go for that?
You know,
I guess I'd start at the zoo.
I don't know.
Maybe they got an old giraffe
I have
around
no
there.
idea. And as I listen to this guy, I sit here and I go, how the heck do you go and you get a multinational
UBS.
PR firm, you get a literally a global bank?
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck are you doing or saying to get these people? Oh, yeah, you know, I'll have some of that. You know, share that with us.
You know, it's funny. It comes around the fact that on a principle that I live by, first of all.
Okay.
And I mentioned it the last time I was here, that a friend will always be there for a friend.
Sure.
And an acquaintance you can never count on.
That's true.
And I would have to say that it all derives from that root. Mm-hmm. And that, without integrity, nothing works.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So those two principles were really based on the relationships that were already there of an individual that had the access to provide a service that was needed. And within that, I don't know the world. I just know that I know one person, and that person may know 10 people. And out of those 10 people, they may have someone that really could be of value for that. It just happened to be individuals that had really high stature within certain organizations. And then so what ended up happening was, it was a concept. It was thrown out to them. They liked it. We sat down. We went and brainstormed. And next thing you know is we have these very prominent, very successful, very large entities that are partaking in something that is really, they're committed to change the world.
Sure. I want to make sure that this was not overlooked by our listening audience because, Jason, small business people are always looking for an opportunity to partner or to do something with an organization that has a well-known name and a great reputation in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it sounded like to me, and you correct me if I'm a little off base here, but it sounded like to me when you developed the concept for this, the first people that you reached out to was your own network.
Absolutely.
And them being sold on your performance, your integrity, and the concepts of the deal that you had discussed with them, they in turn brought their personal relationships to the table. So you didn't necessarily know who to go to in all of these other organizations, but you knew people who did.
Absolutely. I don't have to know everything.
You know, that is something that with small business people, that is a 21st century concept, although it's not employed in most 21st century businesses.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people who believe that they have to roll their sleeves up and do every aspect of the business. And I love the point that you made when you said, hey, I don't know everybody. I don't know the world, but I knew a few people who have influence. And once you sold them, and I'm using the word sold, not in a negative sense,
sure,
but you inspired them with their business deal or your concepts,
right?
And they brought those relationships. They wanted to get on board. They went and made those phone calls and those introductions. That to me is the way that you take advantage of your resources and your network.
Yeah.
And if we could teach that, I think that many small businesses, Irvin, would find more success in 2013 if they would reach out to the people that they have influence with, show them what they're doing, and give them an opportunity to work hand in hand with you and see what happens to your business plan or your idea.
And the thing that jumps out about Jason is these are people. See, there are two things that hold a lot of people back, and a lot of people say this to us. I don't have the people and I don't have the resources. You've addressed both. And the thing that I always get a kick out of in listening to you, Jason, is these were people and resources that you already had. You already had those relationships, as you mentioned, in place.
Yeah.
And I wonder, John, how many of our listeners every day out of the thousands of listeners that we have, I wonder how many already have the people and resources available through relationships that they've already established,
right?
But for whatever reason has been reluctant, to come out and say, "Hey, I've got this model. Help me here."
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I tell you what. Hold it.
Okay.
We're going to go into break. And we come back. The way you took that breath, I know that
he's going to let it rip.
Two things. We'll let Jason address that, that point that Irv just made, and then we come back. I want to talk about, for those of us who are in the Houston area, you have a event that's coming up on February 6th.
Oh, we
definitely want to talk about that.
All right, folks, we're talking with Jason Jimenez, president of International Resource Group. You can reach him at www.irghouston.org. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, you can get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Don't go away, folks. Get your pen out. The education continues right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Mr. Jason Jimenez. He is the president of International Resource Group. I want to give out his web address again. If you would like to connect with him, you can do so at www.irghouston.org. Again, that's www.irghouston.org. Now, you were about to make a comment before we went into the break. You took your deep breath. I want to go ahead and let you exhale now.
You were talking about everybody has resources, or
Sure.
they have a pool of people that they know. And I think what happens the most, what I've seen, right, is that most people are so worried about either me, myself, and I, or that this is my client. If I give it away, if I let somebody in, they're going to take them away from me. Or the fact that they go to networking events and they meet individuals, but typically when you go to a networking event, what are you trying to do? You're trying to sell them something that you have.
Sure.
You're not willing to listen.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I find is if people go in from a mindset of saying, let me go in and trying to help, and by me helping and putting them in a better position, then there's a basis of a true relationship to be able to establish that when you need something that is to help you get further in your business, personally or professionally, they're more willing to. Jason,
that's a law. That is an absolute law. See, you can't contribute to someone else's wealth or well-being without benefiting yourself. You just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a law. That's what's going to happen. You can't even stop it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you and I met at the Mark here in Houston, correct?
I don't remember.
I want to say we did, and from the very first moment that I met you, it's
you're right.
It's always
yes.
The first thing you did is you encouraged me to come over and sit with you and a group of your friends, and I was there alone at the time.
Yep.
And not that I looked lonely or anything. It's just
No. You were with your wife at the.
And I think the first night I wasn't. The second time,
that's right.
The second time I was.
That's right.
And but every single time you and I would talk, it was all about hey, these are my friends. This is what they do. I mean, you're more of a facilitator. You're asking what I did, and you're trying to put people together who may be able to benefit one another. And that sold me on Jason. I like this guy because I like to look at myself as somewhat of a connector as well. And it's not always about how can I steal $1 out of the middle of every single transaction.
Yeah.
First of all, let me put a transaction together, and
Right.
then if there's something where I can work my way into it,
if some money
great.
comes out, great.
If not, at least I benefited two
Right.
people that I care
Right.
about or that I'm trying to establish a great relationship
Right.
with.
Absolutely.
And like you said, Herb, what he's talking about are just universal principles.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy's a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's throwing connections and everything.
I mean, he's hitting all the receivers, man. Everybody's got good stats with this guy at the snap, man.
Well, I tell you what, now, for those of us who are in the Houston area, Jason has a conference that's happening on February 6th. I want you to give the date and time, and then let's talk about what's going on, and also the possibility of if you're not in the Houston area, can I still
Absolutely.
figure out what's going on? Is there a webcast of some sort?
There is actually, so you can go to irghouston.org and you can actually purchase tickets for the event. It's going to be, the registration starts at 7:30. The event will start at 8 a.m. And what we have is, again, an educational platform to educate an individual domestically or internationally of the footprint of what needs to happen and the pitfalls to avoid as you are opening up a venture or creating or coming into the country. Again, Texas is its own country. country. So we want to give you that platform, that basis there.
No doubt.
So what we're going to do is we'll actually start off with an organization called Landmark Education. They're actually coming doing an introduction because we also wanted the element of professional growth and personal growth. So we are bringing them in, and they'll do the first segment. They even have individuals will have the opportunity to register with them. I've been a student of theirs for some time now, and it's been very impactful for me, my family, as well as my business. And right after that, then we'll go into the immigration and labor law attorney, which is Jacob Monty Ramirez. They're going to go over the immigration platforms, give you some of the pitfalls of things to avoid. And then eventually, right after that, UBS is going to come up and actually talk about the global economy and what's to be expected within 2013 and as we move forward. And again, each segment will have about a 15-minute break to get questions and answers.
Sure.
Right after that, we'll actually have lunch, and our keynote speaker is going to be Scott McClellan, the president of HEB.
Yeah.
And he is there to specifically talk about how HEB has capitalized on the capacity of investing his business here in Houston and in Texas, and their overwhelming growth. As you notice, there's HEBs popping up everywhere.
Absolutely.
And finishing off the night.
Sure.
Man, and I'm going to tell you, Scott is definitely a treat. I haven't heard the other speakers, and I'm certain that they're going to do well, but Scott is definitely a treat. I've heard him speak before, and you talk about someone who knows his business.
Oh, no
doubt. And I think all entrepreneurs can definitely learn something by just listening to him talk about HEB, their growth, their market share. He knows his business, he knows his customer, and he knows his competition.
Yep.
So that's going to be phenomenal. Now, tell me, it starts what time again?
It starts the registration starts at 7:30. The conference will be over at 1:30. If you are not in the Houston area, you have the capacity to go onto the website and go into irghouston.org/success conference. And what will happen is you have the access. You'll get sent the link for the webcast, because we are filming it live.
Sure.
And if you happen to be in another country and the time difference, it's going to be recorded, so you'll be able to watch it at any point in time.
Beautiful. Now, what's the cost?
For the actual, for coming to the event, it's $35. It includes breakfast and lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's on a webcast, it's absolutely free.
Wow. Now, where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the Lone Star College in the Woodlands.
Okay, all right.
At the Convention Center.
Lone Star College at the Woodlands. Registration starts at 7:30 a.m. They're serving breakfast and lunch. The cost is $35.
$35.
And you have no excuse for not being there. And if you're not in the Houston area, definitely go on and watch the webcast. I mean, I can't say enough.
Here's the thing. Houston is such an entrepreneurial city.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for something like this, because even the demographics are perfect. And what I mean is, Houston is such an international city.
Yep.
There's a ton of folks that's from just about everywhere. And, we don't often think about, as small business owners, what that really means in English in the terms of business opportunities that come in from literally all over the world and just about every day in some capacity or other. And so I would think just connecting to this event, being able to run into those kinds of people who are at least like-minded folks about capitalizing on these kinds of opportunities. But I would say, too, and you can correct me here, Jason, I would think that you would want to come to this conference also thinking about what you can bring to the table.
Absolutely. It's a forum that really gives you the capacity for networking.
Sure.
Because, again, it's every location, every place, and every person you meet is an opportunity for possibility.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Now, are you guys going to have a segment of this training where you're going to teach some of these small business owners exactly how to position themselves in a scenario like this?
That would be on an individual standpoint.
Okay.
Reason being is because every scenario is different.
Sure.
And more importantly, it all starts with the question is, where do you see yourself a year, 5 years down the line?
Right.
And if you don't know where that is, we can't move forward.
Yeah, you need to have some sort of vision for what you want to have happen going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, there's nothing worse, John, than trying to assist somebody who's not clear or real nebulous on what they want to have happen themselves in their own business.
Absolutely. I mean, how do you do that?
I have no idea how you do that, but maybe we can get the great John Cruz to give us some direction, Jason, when we come back. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Is brought to you by DirecTV, with over 285 channels and NFL Sunday ticket packages. Start at just $29.99 a month. Sign up today at 888-344-9296. We're in the home stretch. Don't go away yet. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today has been Mr. Jason Jimenez. He is the president of International Resource Group. If you've missed any portion of this interview, I encourage you to go to cruzandhughes.com and click on the link for Blog Talk Radio and find this in the archives and definitely listen to it. Now, Jason has, for the individuals who are in the Houston area, they can attend a Steps for a Successful Transition into the Houston Market. That's the name of a conference that he's doing on February 6th, Steps for a Successful Transition into the Houston Market. It is on February 6th at Lone Star College in the Woodlands. It starts at 7:30 a.m. That's when registration begins. It's $35 to attend, but don't worry, that $35 buys you breakfast and lunch, which I don't believe you can beat that any place, as well as getting the good information from the speakers who will be on the panel. Guys, I want to encourage you to go to International Resource Group's website. You can get information on the event for February 6th. If you want to watch it via webcast because you're not in the Houston area, you can go there as well and get information on that. The website again is www.irghouston.org. That's www.irghouston.org. And the toll-free telephone number is 1-800-994-0143. Now, Jason, with all this information and everything that you're doing, what other projects do you may have coming up over the next year or so?
You know, it kind of touched base on the subject we talked about, you know, the business development and the resource and the networking. And one of the things that I've been wanting, you know, been contemplating on is actually maybe putting a book together. And just about a week and a half ago, I actually said, okay, I'm going to do it.
Really?
And it's really based on the premise of really business development, branding and marketing of yourself, and utilizing the aspect of networking and true networking to where you're really not only helping others, and within that it helps you. And the book is going to be called is A Friend Will Always Be There for a Friend.
Awesome. And when you write that, you definitely have to come back and let's talk about it.
Oh, well, appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to Cruz and Hughes. This is Small Business Day with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until tomorrow, do 3 things for us. Be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.